Why, hello. I welcome you back to Abaddon's Academia, where today I would like to go over Pathfinder 2nd Edition summon spells, and why personally I believe they need to be buffed. So, the summon spells generally follow a pretty basic routine. There are 3 action spell that brings a creature into existence for as long as you sustain it or a minute maximum, which can be rather impactful, assuming you are encountering foes who are lower level than you, or you could utilize certain special abilities. But since a lot of encounters will find you facing enemies on your level, the fact that the creatures are frequently 2 levels, if not more, below your level makes the creatures far less impactful because of how Path- Pathfinder 2nd Edition handles its combat, for your chances to hit are drastically hindered the lower level you are in relation to your foes. So it can cause several creatures that you summon to be completely unimpactful. You could try and summon a wolf, perhaps, to attack and destroy someone, but given its low chance to hit, it's likely just sitting around and possibly offering flanking. Or you could summon a massive zombie to aid you and defend against your foes, but due to its lower AC, it is crit food for your enemies that easily cut it down, with it hardly even being something they have to consider. Sometimes even being able to use their attacks that are suffering from multiple attack penalties on the zombie and still consistently hit it. So, I think there should be some level of change, as if we look at the spell rank to spell level creatures, first rank, which you get first, has -1, which, assuming you're fighting level 1 monsters, would be a lackey or a simple standard creature that require a huge amount of them in order to change where it would be setting on the encounter budget, assuming you were to compare this to how you position encounters against the party. If you look at the inverse, we have the similar issue that these creatures don't generally offer much and demand a fair amount of the caster, for they take an action every turn to sustain or they completely vanish, which makes them rather burdensome to keep around and format your turns around. And while I understand summon spells should not be super powerful, if they are not applicable options, you are killing off build concepts that would desire to be a summoner. Perhaps a druid wants to call in animals to help them, and don't want it simply to be, oh, well, I have a single animal companion that can aid me, and would like to use their magic to act as if they're beckoning the wild for allies, but such is frequently not a good option just by the level difficulty. So I have a couple of things that I would like to offer. Of This will be free, found in the description on Pathfinder Infinite. There'll be a link for you in the description so you can get access to it just fine. And it has a fair few options that I'll go over briefly. The extra options is sometimes you find that you don't have too many options for your various levels, as Undead starts with a few but very quickly dwindles out. The biggest culprit, or at least person that gets hurt by this, is elementals. For if you see yourself as a pyromancer and want to summon specifically fire elementals, your options are dramatically reduced. Having two, maybe even one. Some other options only getting one per level as you steadily increase, making it so what you can actually summon be exceptionally niche, as you need to get the highest level if you even want to be on a comparable threshold to other situations. This will also include an option to scale up lower level creatures and give them effects. This should be something that the player that wants to do this does ahead of time, not in the middle of summoning a spell. They should mention that, hey, I would like to focus on casting skeletons, but I don't see any good skeletons going on. Can I upgrade a skeleton guard? And go throughout that to have their skeletal increase to be creatures. With these simple rules, it makes it so augmenting the creature can be done relatively quickly and isn't going to be a drastic increase in their capabilities. Next, something that I mentioned about summon spells is they have 1 minute duration. However, most summon spells work as a buffing move in some degree. If you look at them as a pool of HP, then they are buffing health. And many of these have significantly longer durations. I believe summons should have a base duration of 10 minutes rather than 1 minute, because this will allow you to pre summon if you're entering into a boss arena. You could have your summon come with you. Or if you are really good at managing the fight and do not wastefully use a summon, it could possibly help you in multiple encounters rather than simply be one encounter, as several other less immediately impactful spells tend to have the option to benefit you over multiple encounters rather than just one. Next, I think you should make summons consistently at least considerable to the threshold that you are fighting at. And the ways that I would suggest doing this is increasing how much HP they have and increasing their sustainability. So if you summon a big luggering creature, as long as you keep with the spell, they'll be able to endure and tank for you. Or if you wish for them to be offensive, you could have them use your spell attack instead of their usual modifiers. So they'll at least have a close to okay hit chance given they're using your spell attack. For AC and saves, you could simply use your spell DC to come to the same kind of issue that if its AC is really low, then it's going to just get crit often. So you could use AC and saves to help leverage that. And automatic for people that don't necessarily want the summon to be super impactful in the fight, but do want it to still be there. This will make it so you do not need to sustain the spell, but if you do not sustain it, then it only gets a single action. You can still sustain it and give it 2 actions, or you could even opt to sustain it for 2 actions to give it 3, as many animal companions and similar get the option for. And as you cast summon spells at higher ranks, since as we saw, the disparity between the level that your maximum is and the level you are increases, I believe as such, you should have more of these options to fill out more and more. While you could possibly think of other ways to go about doing this, of perhaps you don't want it to be they have to choose all of them, and instead they could magnify various options. I don't know if everyone should be able to have access to that for free if they just picked up a summon spell, whereas this just makes it so the summon will be able to do what you summon it to do. And as such, filling these out will make it just overall a better summon to utilize. Next in this is a wide series of class feats for people to be able to fit summoning into a concept for their class, with a lot of these augmenting what happens to your summon when you summon it. I won't necessarily go over all of those here, as you can find them freely on the thing, but they go over all of things and give Summoner a proper fill in for if you want to do summons, well, here's some feats for you that are seen across the area. There is one specifically for Cult that is only found in Summoner, but that is because I do not know if one of our Cult casters should have a summon theme, given how few options there are. I thought possibly Bard could have it, but I don't know if you'd necessarily see that as your ideal for Bard. It feels a little out of piece. If you believe Bard should have it, you can simply say Terrifying Summon and Overwhelming Presence summon work as bard feats as well as summoner feats. I did not change the levels that summoner gets them in relation to the base class, so you could slot them in wherever. But that is the main thing I would like to go over, and I hope this helps you consider summon spells and makes them an interesting choice, possibly fleshing out other ideas and concepts for you to utilize. As always, I thank you for your time, and if there is ever anything you'd like to ask or discuss, feel free to utilize the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.